Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, LiveLoveCrochet. So today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this Gonk. He's a little gnome with his hat covering his eyes. I think his purpose is for Christmas, I'm not actually sure, but this is going to be my first Christmas tutorial. So the tutorial is going to be step by step, it's going to be very easy for you to follow along. So if you're interested in making this, let's go find out what we're going to need. So we're going to need a pair of scissors, a needle. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook. You're going to need a stitch marker, that's very important. We're going to need some stuffing to fill the body. You're going to need a lot more than this, but I'm just showing you for you to know what it is that we're going to need. So stuffing and yarn. So I'm using DK yarn. So I'm going to use grey for the body again. The peach is going to be for his nose. I'm going to use this mint green colour for his hat. So his hat's red there. I'm going to be using this colour for his hat. And then we're going to need some white for his beard. So if you have all your things ready, let's get started. So we're going to be starting with the body first. So I'm going to be using grey. So we're going to first make a magic circle. So if you don't know how to make a magic circle, I'm going to show you. So what we're going to do, I also have a short on this, I will link it down in the description. So we're going to wrap our yarn around our finger, 2 fingers, cross it over at the back, and then when you come to the front it will be straight, so it will be crossed at the back but straight at the front. So go underneath your first thread here, catch your second, pull it through, and then you're going to chain 1. It is that simple. So then we're going to put 6 single crochets into this magic ring. So when you're crocheting into your ring, make sure you crochet over both of your threads here. So 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I have 6 single crochets right there. So then you're going to get your tail and you're going to pull on your tail. So then makes a little ring. You are then going to find your first stitch. So as you can see, mine is right there. I'm going to go into that stitch now, and I'm going to make 2 single crochets into this stitch. So 1 and 2 into the next 2 single crochets, 1, 2, into the next the same. So that's 3 of my single crochets I've put 2 double crochets into. So now I need to put 2 more double crochets into every stitch until I have crocheted into my 6 stitches from the start. So here's my 4th, 2 single crochets, into my 5th, 2 single crochets, and then into my last one, 2 single crochets, and then into this last single crochet that I've just made, I'm going to put my stitch marker into there. So that when I get here, it means that's my last stitch to crochet into before it's the next round, because we're not going to be doing any chaining. We need to know where our last stitch is. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this tail tight so there's no hole in the middle. You should do the same if you have a hole. So that's what it should look like. Right, so now onto the next row. What we're going to do is the same as before. We're going to go around every single stitch, but this time we're going to put 1 single crochet into this one. Into the next we're going to put 2 double crochets. Into the next we're going to put 1. Into the next 2. So I'm going to show you now. So go into your next stitch, 1 single crochet. Into the next stitch you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, next stitch, 1 single crochet, next stitch, 2 single crochets, next stitch, 1 single crochet, into your next, 2 single crochets. So what we're doing here is we're just increasing our stitches all the way around. So into the next, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet. Keep going until you reach your stitch marker. So when you reach your stitch marker here, take it out, and you're going to put 2 single crochets into that last stitch. And then you're going to replace the stitch marker back into that last stitch you've just single crocheted. So then we move on to the next row. This time we're going to single crochet once into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. So into the first stitch here, 1 single crochet, into the next, 1 single crochet, into the next, 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and then into the next 2 I'm going to put 1 single crochet into each, and then into the next 2 single crochets. One single crochet into the next 2 stitches, so 1 and 2, 2 single crochets, one and 1, and then the next is 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet into the next 2, and then 2 into the next. Two into the next single crochets, 1 and 2, and then into your last stitch, remove your stitch marker and put 2 single crochets into there. 1 and 2. So all we are doing is we are increasing our circle. We are going to do this until we have 6. So we go around 3, so 1, 2, 3 single crochets, and then 2 single crochets into the next. So we're going to do it until we have 6. So we're going to do 4 more rows, sorry, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So when I get to my 6th row, 6 single crochets and then a increase, I am going to meet you back there. So I'm going to do 3, 4, 5, and I will meet you when I am on 6. So now I'm on the 6th increase, so row 8. So into your very first stitch here, after your stitch marker, 1 single crochet. You're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 5. That equals 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Into your next, you're going to put 2 single crochets, so 1 and 2, and then again 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 single crochets into the next stitch, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 into the next increase, 1, 2, and we're just going to keep going until we get to our stitch marker. So then we're going to remove our stitch marker. Into the last stitch is going to go 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and there is the increasing all done. So still put your stitch marker into your last stitch. So this round, row 9, we're going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch. Then this is going to make it come up straight. So 1 single crochet into each stitch. So this is really easy. So what you can do when you get to the end of this row, put 1 single crochet into your stitch with your stitch marker, and then put your stitch marker back into that stitch. So put single crochet and then put your stitch marker back in there. So we are going to do this for the next 8 rows. So row 9 to row 17 is going to be 1 single crochet into each stitch. So I'm going to leave you to do that. So 8 rows, so including this one, 8 rows. So we've got, after this one, 7 more rows to do. So row 9 to 17 is going to be 1 single crochet into each stitch, and I will see you when I've finished row 17. I have now just finished row 17. Now moving on to row 18, we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to do it the other way around this time. So we're going to go from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go, because with the increasing we did 1, 2, 3 and 4 single crochets. This time we're going to be going backwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 6 single crochets into each stitch, and then we're going to make our decrease. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and now we're going to make our decrease. So we're going to go into the next single crochet, we're going to catch our yarn and pull through. You will have 2 loops on your hook. Go into the next single crochet, catch your yarn, pull through. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, just like that. And then we're going to single crochet into the next 6 single crochets. So find your next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're going to make a decrease, just like that, and then we're going to keep going. So you keep going with this and I will meet you back at our stitch marker. So I'm just coming to the end, and at the end you should have 2 stitches left here to decrease. So take out your stitch marker, and then those last 2 stitches we are going to make a decrease. And then we're going to put our stitch marker back into that stitch there. And now for row 19, we're going to single crochet 5 and then decrease 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we're going to make a decrease, and I'm going to meet you back at the stitch marker. So I've just come to the end of row 19. So moving on to row 20 is going to be 4 single crochets and a decrease. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and make a decrease. And that is going to be all you're going to do. Row 21 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease. Row 22 is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease. And row 23 is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease, and then 1 single crochet and a decrease. And once you have done that 1 single crochet and a decrease row, I'm going to meet you at the end of that. Okay, so I've just finished row 23, and this is what you should be getting right now, just a little hole at the top. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pull up a loop and take your hook out. You might want to put a stitch marker there so you don't lose your loop. Okay, so now we're going to stuff our body. So I've got my stuff in. Just going to keep putting it in, making sure I get it all in at the bottom nice and equally. So I'm going to keep doing my stuffing and I will meet you when it is all done. So I have now stuffed my body. Now we're going to move on to row 24. So for this round we're just going to decrease, we're not going to do any single crochets, we're just going to decrease in each. So we're going to go into the next stitch and you're going to make a decrease into the next stitch, a decrease, decrease, take out your stitch marker. Okay, so now we're left with a little hole. So we're just going to chain one, pull your yarn through, making a nice tail so you can sew around that hole. So if you would like to get your needle, and we're going to sew this up now. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a loop and just put your needle through this loop here and then the loop diagonal from it. And then into the next loop here and then into the one diagonal. If you know a better way to sew this up, then you choose your way. All we're trying to do is close up the hole, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. Right, so we're going to put the hat on this side anyway. So we're just going to hide our tail. Okay, so we're just going to pull up a few loops. And then just to secure it a little bit more. Okay, so now what you're going to do, just going to cut your yarn. So if you give it a little pull, your yarn should disappear back in, so you won't have anything showing. Right, so there is our body finished. Hope you understood that. So now we're going to go and move on to the hat. So my hat is going to be in this mint green. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to make a magic circle, but we're only going to put 3 single crochets into it. Okay, so we're just going to make a magic circle like last time, and then what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, you're going to put 3 single crochets into this circle, 1, 2 and 3. You're going to pull your magic circle closed, and then you're going to find your 3rd stitch. So you can see mine, which is here. Might be a little bit of a squeeze to get it in, so it's so small. So then we're going to put 2 single crochets into the next 3 stitches. So you should end up with 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and into the 6th one put your stitch marker in there, just like that. Okay, so next round we're going to put 1 single crochet into each of the 6 stitches. So you should end up with 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your last one should go into your stitch marker. Stitch. So take that out, put a single crochet in, replace your stitch marker. Okay, so for this round now we're going to single crochet in 1, and then we're going to do an increase in the next. So 1 into the next increase, into the next 1, into the next is a increase, one single crochet into the next, and then 2 single crochets where your stitch marker is. Into the last stitch, put your single crochet and your stitch marker, sorry. So for the next round we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch. Take out your stitch marker, and put a single crochet into there, and then replace your stitch marker. Okay, so for this round it's going to be 2 single crochets and then a increase. So into your next stitch, 1, 2, increase, and then 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, and remove your stitch marker and do a increase into your last stitch. 1 and 2. Place your stitch marker into that stitch right there. For this round, this row, we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch. Next row is going to be 3 single crochets and a increase. So what we're doing is increase row, single crochet row, increase row, single crochet. So that is 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, 2, you should have 3 stitches left and then an increase into your stitch marker. So increase into that stitch there and replace your stitch marker into your last stitch. Just changing my stitch marker because this one keeps getting caught in my yarn. It's a little bit thick to keep putting in and out. And these are like a little bit more thinner, so they work a bit better. So this row, 1 single crochet into each stitch, and as you can see, our hat is starting to take shape. Next row is going to be 4 and a increase. So 4 single crochets, into the next is going to be an increase, and then 4 single crochets, increase, increase into your last. So where you have your stitch marker, every row that you're doing your increases, you should have an increase in your stitch marker where your stitch marker is. So single crochet row, so I think you have the hang of this now. So the row after this is going to be 5 and then an increase, and then your single crochet row, and then 6 and an increase, and then your single crochet row, and so on until you get to 15 and an increase. And that is where I am going to meet you. So I'm going to turn off now, and I'm going to carry on with my hat until I reach my 15th single crochet, 15 single crochets and an increase, and I will meet you on that row, and we will decide then if we want a single crochet row just to finish it off, or if it's long enough for our gonk or gnome, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to go and do that now, and I will see you on our 15 single crochet and an increase row. Okay, so I've just finished my hat. So from my last row I did a row of single crochet, so if you would like to just pause the video here and go and do your row of single crochet and meet me back here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave a very long tail so we can sew in afterwards. So I'm going to just leave an extra long tail, and then I'm going to pull that through. So now that is ready. That's ready to be sewn on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the nose and cut the strands for our beard and moustache. Okay, so we're going to make the nose next. So we're going to make a magic circle again, and we're going to put this time going to chain 1 and put 6 single crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So now we're going to pull this circle closed by the tail. We're going to find our first stitch and we're going to make 2 single crochets into each of these 6 stitches, so you will end up with 12 stitches with 12 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. My last stitch, I'm going to put in my stitch marker. So next row is going to be an increase row. So we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 into the next. So 1, and then your increase, 1, and then your increase, 1, increase, 1, increase, 1, increase, 1, and then remove your stitch marker, and that will be an increase. 1 and 2. Replace your stitch marker. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch. We're going to do this for the next 3 rows. So this is my first row of single crochets. Just gonna pull my tail as well. I'm also going to turn my work so my tail is on the inside. So then what we're going to do is another 2 rounds of single crochets, and I will meet you when you have done your second row. So I've now done 3 single crochet rows. Now we're going to do an increase row for the last row. So we're going to single crochet into 2, going to decrease the next 2 stitches, 1 single crochet into the next 2, decrease, 1 single crochet into the next 2, decrease, and again, into the last two, just make 2 single crochets, and then we are finished with the nose. Chain 1. We're going to leave a tail because we're going to be sewing this onto the gnome's face. So we're going to leave a nice tail so we can sew that on. So there's your nose, which will be sewn on to the front. We're also going to be putting some stuffing in here. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting our yarn for our beard. So we're roughly going to be cutting around about 6 inches of yarn, just roughly. So this is how I cut mine. I just line it up. You don't have to be too exact because we're going to be trimming his beard and moustache anyway, so there's no need to be too exact, just roughly, and I will leave you to do that. We're going to need quite a bit of this because in order to make the moustache and the beard it's going to take a little bit, so you just make a pile of these. I'm going to make a pile and I will meet you when we have our strands, and then we're going to sew our face on. So not our face, our nose and our hat, and put our beard on. So I will see you then.